Behold the Alcazar here in Seville in southern Spain in Andalusia, and this is the Grand Palace. First it started as a fortification back in ancient times, but then the Umayyad Caliphate in 914 started building their official fortification right here on this site. And we see a lot of Islamic influence here, but it is not built by the Caliphate. The parts of the palace that we're seeing today, that was built later after the reconquest of Seville back in the mid 1300s. And then they started building this in styles that reflected a lot of the Islamic decorations that you would see in old palaces, fortifications, in places like Alhambra as well, in nearby Granada. You would see a lot of these decorative elements. I'm Ariel, this is Urbanist. Let me know where you're watching from, and let's walk around a little bit through the Alcazar. Very popular tourist attraction. Also, you might recognize this as the home of the Martells of Dorne in the show Game of Thrones. Welcome everyone. This is definitely the main photo spot right here. So stunning, the architecture. I love that the birds are flying around.
Actually, when Atlético de Campo, Sevilla was hosting the monopoly of trade with the colony. It was the only city able to trade with the colony here in Spain. So, the administration of the country was that, but Seville was still already have the economic house. Right? As many countries have, like, for example, they were never settled.
Seems like Facebook crashed due to a lapse in cell phone reception, but wow, I am stunned. For everyone here tuning in on YouTube, oh, that's a loud noise because a plane is flying overhead, but I am just stunned by the beauty of this place. No wonder it's been visited throughout the decades. I mean, Seville has been a major tourist attraction in Europe for a long time. I think some of people watching out there who are in their later age, 60s, 70s, you probably remember coming to Seville yourself, or people talking about coming to Seville. Is it hot already, says virtual travel? You know, it's not that hot. I was hoping for a little bit more extra warmth. I wanted like 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but you know, I'm settling for like 87 degrees Fahrenheit. You know, I wanted that 104 blazing sun. Though I say that in jest, but heat can be very serious for some people, so do be aware of how the sun is affecting you. If it's too much, always take your time, stay in the shadowy areas, in the shade. I mean, take rest, drink plenty of water. Camilla says, is Kira with me? No, Kira only joined. We traveled together for vacation in Lisbon and the Algarve. And now I'm back in work mode. So I'm here making videos. So I'm solo traveling. POV Chronicle says from Philly via Fiji. Wow, you're at the Fiji at the moment. That's amazing. Camilla, tuning in. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Kay. Everyone, nice. Thank you so much for tuning in.
呢度我哋冇行多。
你的后面远处有个人要停吗？那边的门呢？
Oh my. I mean, this just gets more and more stunning. I did not think this would be that beautiful. I thought it would be like a garden, a main castle area, and that was that. But no, wow. Ron, welcome. Camilla, nice to see you here. Maria, good morning. Camilla says, I love the palm trees too. They're just so stunning.
挑选的那个交换有点不同。
So we can actually see well, I assume, don't know 100% sure, so don't quote me on it, but we're seeing two different eras of structure right over here. So we're seeing this outer wall that seems a bit older than this part right over here, the palace. So this truly is a mishmash of different eras, because there was even ancient Roman fortifications here at some point. Then the Visigoths came over here, they built basilica. And then came the Umayyads, which were an Islamic caliphate that were indeed from... It's a bit complicated, but basically the Umayyads were the Arabian Empire, basically that was one of the largest empires of all history in terms of land area. But they were actually mishmash. There were Arabs, there were North Africans who are different from Arabs, but they did speak Arabic. There were Berbers, and then there were also Spaniards, or people of the region. And then there were various slaves from other parts of the world. And remember, these were different times, so slaves were not the same that we would see later in history. So they would be from parts of Eastern Europe, parts of Central Asia. So it truly was a multicultural society way before our multiculturalism that popped up in the 1900s, 1800s and 1900s in the Western world. Oh, Nay says, thank you for streaming this. My pleasure. Ron says, are you castle hunting? Yeah, I am still castle hunting. I'm still trying to find the best place to buy. Ooh, right here we have a ornate tiled bench. I went to Lisbon recently. You might have seen my Lisbon videos, and they have what are called azulejos. Azulejos. Still don't know how to pronounce Portuguese, but these are the tiles. Wow. All right, let's do a bench review. Ooh, all right. This tile keeps cool. It's slightly warm, but it's not burning hot like would be a piece of concrete or brick. Nice slant to it. I feel very comfortable. And I'm in just one of the most beautiful historical sites I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, this is a great, great bench. The only downside is I can't rest my arm because it is indeed too hot for my arm. But this bench gets a solid... It's too many tourists, so a few points down. But if I were here alone, it might get a little bit higher. It gets a solid 8.6 out of 10. Hello, virtual traveler, nice to see you here. Glad you're clicking that like button. So here's the ladies' garden, El Jardín de las Damas. Was already in existence in the 16th century, but was on a much smaller scale. At the beginning of the 17th century, Velmondo Resta extended and redesigned it according to his scheme that the garden was laid out as a large rectangle with 8 compartments along a central axis, with fountains and intersections of paths that bordered the whole wall, with gateways and windows inspired by Vignola. That's what it says on the plaque. Did not pull that off my head. Hey, virtual travel says Casa de Pilates is also nice to visit. Sounds like Pilates, but I assume it's not based on the same name. Hey, I'm so sad that Prism Live Studio, the app that I use to live stream, has gone downhill. Let me know if when I go very wide angle if it seems laggy, or because when I also zoom in, it's very shaky. It used to not do that. I'm not sure what happened. I'm not sure if they changed the way that they use the camera, but it kind of sucks. So let me know if this looks laggy to you. Well, it's not laggy now. And then zooming in, it gets very shaky. Now, I noticed one big difference between Portugal and Spain in relation to the history of the Islamic caliphates known as the Moors, is that in Portugal, a lot of the influence of the Moors has basically been scrubbed. Aside from maybe the use of ceramic tiles and a few decorative elements, you don't really see much Moorish elements in modern day Portugal. And this applied to Lisbon and the Algarve, where I went to. However, here, they seem to have embraced Islamic decorative elements, architectural styles, artworks into the architecture after the Reconquest, which is a stark difference from what I encountered. To me, it seemed like the Portuguese wanted to erase all history of the Moors, while in southern Spain, not quite the case. Though it is evident to me that in Madrid, they also erased a lot of the old Moorish history. I guess they didn't want any more. Hey, Ron says you should look into Bella Box for live streaming. Oh, thank you so much for the recommendation. Bella Box, okay. Thank you, I'll look into it. I guess the live streaming game has changed. Wow. I mean, I'm just in love with this place. So as I mentioned, this was featured in season 5 of the Game of Thrones as the fictional palace of the Martell family from the region of Dorne, which is the southern part of Westeros in that fictional world of Game of Thrones. The Dornish are basically the Islamic Caliphate. There's a lot of similarities. It's very clear to me that George R.R. Martin actually was deeply inspired by the history of Moorish Spain and Portugal. I'm in love with these birds, says Virtual Traveler. Yeah, me too. Me too. Wow. And can you imagine the work it takes to maintain all of this? Because this castle is not like a singular structure and then just a big garden. Like compared to like Palace of Versailles. Palace of Versailles is massive, but Palace of Versailles is basically one single structure. I'm not talking about the grounds, but the main palace is one single structure with a gigantic garden. But here it's like all different little buildings. Similar to how New York City built the Met. It's just a series of different buildings all kind of combined together. But these buildings were constructed throughout the centuries. And these gardens were improved upon throughout the centuries. Good morning, Marta. Let me know where you're watching from if you're tuning in right now. I'm Ariel. This is Urbanist Ariel. Welcome, everyone. Nice to see you here. Wow. Great place for peace and contemplation. Uh-oh, the English part is faded. We only have Spanish. We can see a little bit. Este pabellón se construyó en el honor del matrimonio de Emperador Carlos el V y Isabela de Portugal. Ooh, we got a matrimony between Spain and Portugal. I'm not sure what part was Carlos V from, whether it was what we know today as Spain or the Castilians or another kingdom. But this ceramic was decorated in the 16th century. Ron says I should ask AK what he's using to stream in China. I'm so glad that Action Kid is in China and live streaming. I would love to go to China. Virtual Traveler says it looks lonely. Yeah, I'm kind of in the more quieter part. It's huge though. I thought it would be more packed, but actually it's a bit quieter over here. God, these grounds are huge. It looks small from the outside, so from the front entrance, it looks like it's supposed to be a fifth or a sixth of the size, but coming in here, it's very expensive. This is a good place to end. These were the grounds of Alcazar here in beautiful Seville. The city is stunning. My first impressions of Seville is that it is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen. I am shocked because I've been to so many beautiful cities, but I did not realize Seville was going to have such an expanse of history and interesting architecture. And so many beautiful squares. People are dressed very nicely here, especially compared to other nearby areas. This is such a stunning city, and I can't wait to explore it more. It's only my first. Yesterday I arrived during the day. I took a high-speed train from Barcelona to over here. It took me 5 hours and 40 minutes or so. And then I spent last night exploring a little bit. And today, my first full day, and I am blown away. I can't wait to see more of it. So everyone stay tuned for more short videos about Seville. I'm gonna see what I should cover in Seville. If you have any ideas, do let me know. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Adios, amigos.